Hi, I've been asked to do a video about my van. Well, actually I was asked to take some photos, but I decided to do a video about what I've done to my van to have it reclassified as a motor caravan. I didn't intend to do this, but I started by buying this van for my hobby. I fly model aeroplanes and I like to take the dogs with me now I'm retired, so I bought the van for the extra space. But joining a Facebook page called Self-Built Caravans, I discovered that the DVLA have a very small amount of minimum requirements to get your van reclassified as a motor caravan. So this is a video just to show you what I've done to my van to get it reclassified. Wasn't a lot. Well, here it is. This is my Vauxhall Vivaro limited edition van. It's a 2017 version, which I bought last July, so it's coming up to a year old now. It's 11 months old now. This is what I started with. One of the very first things I did to this van was have a window put in the side door, because as I say, it's basically so I could take the dogs out with us as well, and I felt that they needed some extra lights in the back of the van. I had the bulkhead taken out when I bought it so that they can have plenty of light. A few weeks ago we were out for the day with the dogs, went down for a drive to Eastbourne, and it got really hot, so we decided it was time to put a window in this side of the van. But this time I put a window in with a sliding window in it so that the dogs can get some air. The whole thing was originally basically for the dogs. This is it in its everyday use layout. Dog's cage sitting in the van on top of a load of units that I'd built. Nothing fancy at all. At this point you wouldn't even think it was a class as a motor caravan, would you? There you go, this is what it looks like from through the back door. So originally I built this box here, and this box here was purely meant to be for storage. It still is. So you open that up and it is storage boxes. There's 3 at this side here, and I've used ropes, as you can see, just to keep the lid from falling the other way. And on the inside of the van I got the other side of that box, which was originally built at the back, which is 2 bigger storage compartments, so obviously you can store much bigger things in, and again with a lid which can be pulled down, leaving you with the flat back. And then after that I built another box unit across the side here. Let me get rid of this towel. Built this other box along the side there. Now that's all I'd done right up until I joined this Facebook page. And then I started realising that, hang on a minute, I could get this reclassified as a camper van. So my next stage was to build this box along here, and I'll explain what all this box does in a minute. And this down here is, believe it or not, the table and the bed. Let me put this up into its bed position first. Now simply by lifting that panel up from down on the floor there, it bridges the gap between all the storage boxes, and I can put a double airbed which is stored in the rear storage boxes. Double airbed fits in there. We have our bed, and we have headboards if you like. Now the headboards actually double up as the backrest for the bench when we have the table. I will show you it now set up as a table. There you go, I have a proper caravan pedestal which is bolted to the floor. I had to make a false floor, lift it up because it's quite long under the floor there, so I had to make a false panel, false floor. And as you can see, what was the bridge for making the bed is now a table. So you've now got this bench with backrests, and you've got bench here, but there's no backrest at the moment. I will now show you that. The rear box lid, I fitted some gate bolts, and I've drilled into the side, the wooden panels on the side here, and I fitted these, and I pushed those into holes which I've drilled in the side, and that now doubles up as the backrest for this bench. So now we have quite a long bench over there with a backrest, and we have a bench over here with a backrest. Now this panel here, which you can see here, this, believe it or not, is my cooker, because to be a motor caravan you have to have a cooker permanently fitted. Now I'll show you how this works. Actually, I might go and get my tripod and set this up. Be back in a sec. Right, now this piece here is my cooker. Drawer slides out, leg drops down, that sits down there. We now have a cooker for use while we're outside cooking. Only problem is, as you can all see, it's now outside the van. So my next thing I've got to do is I've got to go and buy a drive-away awning so that I can use the cooker outdoors if it's raining. At the moment it's fine because it's not raining. But if it's a rainy day, I need to be able to cook something, make a cup of tea, I need to get a drive-away awning. But that's how my cooker works. I'm just going to take the tabletop off so I can show you the last part of this. What I've got here is, in this last compartment here, is my gas bottle. Now, as far as DVLA are concerned, the only requirements for water is a water container. So I bought this 20 litre water container and put it there. When I need it, I will just fill it up. Job done. Now, also in this compartment is my battery, a leisure battery, and I've wired in a fuse box, so it's completely self-contained. At the moment it's not being charged by the van, or it's not being charged by a solar panel, it's just self-contained. And I wired in a control panel for lighting. Smart little piece of gadgetry this, because it tells me how many volts are left in the battery. 12.8 at the moment. Now these first four switches here turn on my LED lights. So I've got one there, one there, one there, and one right behind me. So we have plenty of lighting at night, all individually switched, so I can switch off any one of them at any time. And there you have it, folks. This is my rendition of a motor caravan. As I said, dead basic, but it meets all the requirements of the DVLA. This hinges up. Now, believe it or not, that's not storage space, that's where the cooker slides into. But I've got a little bit of a cubby hole here so I can store some bits like tea bags and sugar and milk, well not milk, powdered milk maybe. But yeah, there you go. That's my camper van. Just one little extra thing, I found a video on YouTube on how to make your very own cargo net. So I bought a load of paracord and I wove myself a cargo net. So that hangs between the hoops which are provided in the van in the first place, the tie down points. So I've actually got extra storage space via a cargo net if I need it. There you go folks, all done.